we are going to be doing a review over Troma's hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm. It's hard to say.
It is whenever you put me on the spot like that, because I was going to say it, but I had to stop myself. With this movie, I feel like I've already watched it because this has been going on since 2020.
2020.
I kept up with it so much, and at the time I went to see Joe Bob in Chattanooga, and everybody was talking about this movie called Nobodies. I was like, wow, I'm going to see Return to Class of Nukem High Volume 2. That's a tongue twister. Even at that time, I think they showed a sneak peek of Shakespeare Shitstorm that night. Like I said, with that being said, I kept up so much, so when we actually watched it, I kind of knew what was coming up because I've dove in so much, and I've just been waiting for it.
So did you know going into it? So obviously we knew it was going to be Shakespeare. Did you know that it was a play on The Tempest?
I did not, because there's not much Shakespeare that I know. I barely know. I barely know any of it, except well,
now you do.
Well,
thank you, Lloyd Kaufman.
Well, I mean, we could already thank him before with Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
I mean, that's like the thing is like I know, but I don't know.
In my opinion, as a wannabe Shakespeare historian, nerd alert.
Nerd!
This is one of the best, if not the most entertaining adaptation of Shakespeare I've ever seen. So take Shakespeare, take everything out there in your face that you know about Troma, blend that with society, and you get, put that in a blender with diarrhea, and you get Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
I know hardly anything of Shakespeare, but leave it to Lloyd Kaufman and the Troma team to allow me to learn through this shitstorm, if you will.
We can't really give away a lot. What we can give away is that you will never see this much shit on film for the rest of your life. Shout out to official shit wrangler John Brennan.
Throwing John Brennan's name out, there's a throw to The Shining in this that is, as soon as it was coming up, like I feel like we both knew.
We both knew.
Yeah. Whoever's idea for that,
brilliant.
A lot of the pace and stuff with the first of it, no pun intended, it is a shitstorm because there's so much going at that first little bit that like you feel the chaos, you feel what's all going on, and I feel like, of course, that was implied as the movie progressed. There's just so much that's happening in that first act, and you're overwhelmed by just everything.
I had the exact same feeling, and I feel like that's the wave of a Troma film in general. Is it setting you up? You are in for a ride. Like, right. This is going to be unlike any film you've ever seen. I
don't know if The Tempest can be any better than what I just saw.
It's not going to be any better than what you just saw. Don't read Shakespeare, kids. Watch Troma.
Oh, hey, wait, watch Troma? Watch Troma? What about Troma Now? I know that you can go on there right now and get a free month of Troma Now. You can watch documentaries.
Thousands of movies.
A bunch of movies.
No commercials.
You can look up the Tromaettes. You can look at
titties,
anything
super
you want, anything you want. TROMA NOW. And no, Lloyd Kaufman did not tell us to say anything like that. And no, I'm not going to get invited to Lloyd Kaufman's house for his special spinach dip. But I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
First free month, $4.99 after. It's cheap as hell.
And back to FRIGHTCAP with Act 2. And as it progresses with the movie, you see the plot laid out.
It's pulling on a lot of modern day evils and a lot of modern day norms that have become, for lack of better words, toxic.
Ooh.
And rewriting Shakespeare to fit the mold for today, to make it relevant for today's society. Master storytelling.
Yeah, master storytelling.
Also master effects work here too, and master production team. And shout out to Ben Johnson, film worker extraordinaire, is behind the scenes and in front of the camera too for a little bit.
Yeah.
Appreciated seeing Ben Johnson and James Boylan, who you may know from Fantasy Shed Network, Totally Tubular,
What?
which I am a part of.
And that brings us to our sponsor today, Big Dan.
Big Dan!
You better believe that anything TROMA's happening, Big Dan's gonna be there. Big Dan's probably smoking some
High quality meats.
the highest of all quality meats. And he's probably sitting out, probably watching Class of Nukem High, probably, I don't know. But Big Dan, he's backing this right here, and I'm sure he'd back you with some baby back ribs.
Oh!
Big Dan. Big Dan. Now we're back again. We're back again. But with all TROMA movies in general, the one thing that I appreciate that's in all TROMA movies, and we talked about this, is I can watch how an actor or actress acts in this movie, and I can tell it's a TROMA film.
Cartoonish
Yes.
type,
And
over the top.
I appreciate that so much. That's if anything that I can get out, that's one thing I appreciate with TROMA movies is the details of that.
Zach Amico, if you know him from his podcast and as a comedian, is a absolutely hilarious human being, and his role in this film had me in tears. His performance had me in tears. Let's just say that.
Yeah, when we got to see the premiere of Curse the Wire Digger, it's about the same level. I mean,
Yeah.
like when he's on screen,
He commands it.
yeah, I mean full blown. Like there's no other word. He grabs it. He understands what needs to be done, and he does it with no remorse. And it's so good. It's so good.
Our buddy John Brennan makes several appearances in this film, and he's pretty amazing. Also, shout out to his significant other, Liz Shack. I was so stoked to find her in this film.
That is what we say. That was our Where's Waldo
Yes.
as we watched.
Where's Liz?
Yeah, we found her.
It was so great.
That's kind of like with all TROMA movies. I always like to look and see if I can see TROMA alumni, new influencers, I guess is the word. I don't know what. I always like to look to see if I see like social media friends and stuff, because
You never know who's going to show up in a TROMA film.
But with it all in a nutshell, hashtag SHAKESPEARESSHITSTORM. We're both very ecstatic to get to finally watch this.
It's going to be an instant favorite for
Yes.
the TROMA crowd, but it's going to be an instant favorite. Also want to say, for those of you that are on the fence about this film, knowing the content that's behind it, I have a very queasy stomach, very bad, how do I word that? It's not a gag reflex, wink wink.
Oh.
I get grossed out easily.
That's an easier way to say it.
As ridiculous and outlandish as this film gets, I never wanted to throw up. I wanted to cheer. I wanted it to keep going. I wanted it to keep getting more ridiculous. In conclusion, this film rocks. This film is wonderful. Thank you to our buddy John Brennan for making this film happen and being the official shit wrangler that you are, bringing joy to the world. Thank you to our buddy Ben Johnson for all of the hard work that you put into Troma and that you continue to put into Troma, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
There's only one thing I can say about it. Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick, get out and go watch Troma Now.
Well, how does that for military?
Troma wants you to get Troma Now and to come to Tromathon and to buy the 50th anniversary of the Toxic Avenger.
Go over to Walmart and buy all the Toxic Avenger stuff.
Oh yeah, that's good. Go to Walmart, buy the Toxic Crusader action figure. Might as well. They've sold out at ours.
Support independent film.
And as always, support Troma and big old boobies. I think that'd be good.
And big old boobies.
Big old boobies.
That's good, Brandon.
Yeah.